So I go ahead and I trim the fat a little bit. I don't want to remove too much fat from the rack of lamb, because anybody who eats lamb chops and they get down to the bone, that's where all the flavor is. That's one of the best parts when you're eating a rack of lamb. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna thoroughly season this rack. Don't be afraid to use salt and pepper. Remember, you're roasting it, so be very generous on the salt and pepper. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get our pan really hot. We're gonna add some oil, and then we're gonna put the rack in, meat side down first. Let that sear very nicely. I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna turn it over, and we're gonna sear the other side. And we're gonna start adding some fresh herbs, some rosemary and thyme. We're gonna get some whole clove, crushed garlic, and butter, and we're going to add this to the pan. We're going to let the butter melt nicely with the garlic and the rosemary and the thyme, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to gently spoon the melted butter over the top of the lamb. So we're basting with butter and garlic and fresh herbs, and it just, oh my God, it just does so much to this lovely piece of meat. And we're going to put this in the oven. We're going to let it cook maybe 10 minutes or so. We're not going to cook it all the way, because we're going to go ahead and we're going to cover it with some fresh breadcrumbs that we're making now with the rosemary, thyme, parsley. I use a panko breadcrumb, fresh pepper, kosher salt, and I use a really, really good non-filtered extra virgin olive oil. Be careful not to put too much in, because if it gets too wet, the breadcrumbs will not brown. We're going to go ahead and watch this beautiful green color. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to coat the rack of lamb that we just pulled out of the oven. I have it cool down a little bit with the Dijohn mustard. Put a generous amount of mustard on the lamb. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to cover the entire rack of lamb with the breadcrumbs. And then we're going to go ahead and we're actually going to put this back in the oven, so the breadcrumbs brown very nicely, which you'll see. And we're going to take this out of the pan, and we're going to let this cool for maybe 10-15 minutes, so when we cut it, it doesn't bleed out. And we're going to make a nice little sauce with the pan roastings that we have. We're going to add a really good Sandeman port wine. We're going to let that reduce, and we're just going to finish it with a little bit of butter. And we're going to use this sauce later. We're just going to spoon a little bit on top of the lamb, just to give it a final boost. And now I think our lamb has been resting long enough, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut that rack. And this knife just goes through this rack of lamb like butter. I mean, it's just so tender. It's just unbelievable. And again, I'm filming this by myself, so I'm gonna have to eat this whole rack of lamb by myself. But don't feel bad for me, because I'm gonna make it through. And this is Andy Baxt. Thank you for watching my video. And please watch for the next one coming soon. Thank you.